Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and after a roller coaster of a week, quite a bit of movement during the week, I am flat pretty much. This is saying about £1,000 down. It was slightly up about 10 minutes ago, and the Delta app on my phone is saying about 1,000 up. So I will call that flat. And yeah, it's going into the election. Everyone's sort of getting a bit excited. We sort of talked about the odds yesterday and how it's looking sort of like it's going to go, but we don't know really. It does look like sort of almost half of the people have voted in the election, from what I can see. Somebody did comment saying that's people who've registered, but it does say cast votes. So yeah, I thought that was people that have voted. So we'll have to see. Looking at the coin shares report, this was sort of relatively positive. Got 901 million the week before last, and yeah, it's year-to-date flows of 21 billion. So very strong. By coin, it was obviously almost all Bitcoin, negative on Ethereum, still tumbleweed on the Ethereum ETFs from the looks of it. A little bit into multi-asset, 10.8 million into Solana, which was, I thought, quite good. 1.8 million in a Litecoin. Why people still want to get into that, I'm not sure. I haven't sort of seen anything at all regarding Litecoin in a long while. People taking off a little bit of short Bitcoin positions as well, and 2.2 million into other coins other than this lot. So interesting. By country, still sort of getting a little bit of rockiness. Another negative from Brazil, Canada as well, Hong Kong and Sweden outflows. A little inflow into Germany and Switzerland, but sort of obviously all dwarfed by the US. And yeah, these are sort of fairly small, but we'll have to see if they get on board soon. Looking at this week, as I say, the Ethereum ETFs have been very, very quiet. It just looks like a little bit going into BlackRock and a little bit going into Fidelity. He did have a 49 million positive day on BlackRock, but that was 36 million out of Grayscale. So I'm guessing that was maybe just a swap. Because we don't really see sort of that big moves in the past sort of few weeks, really, and when they're accompanied by a Grayscale on the same day, could sort of think that is that. Why else would you have waited so long? And yeah, so you've got sort of slight negatives, slight positives, and a slight negative again. Sort of overall, like a couple of million up, but that's not even worth talking about. Whereas on the Bitcoin side, it's been insane again. BlackRock sort of having a really good week in the previous week, and then yeah, this week 315 million, 600, 870, 318, and then flat on the Friday because we obviously had a little bit of down on the Friday. Friday being sort of an overall net day on the down, and no inflows into anything other than the little mini Grayscale one. Interesting as well, sort of Thursday was sort of a bit of a rough day, and BlackRock got inflow, and sort of pretty much everything else got outflow. Some of the people are saying this is still largely sort of basis traders, people selling futures and getting a bit of income off that, buying the spot ETF and being sort of neutral on the price, just taking sort of 10%, 20% income sort of annualized per year. Obviously, crypto people are after a little bit more than that. But yeah, hedge funds are sort of quite happy with, say, 15% a year. That's outperforming probably a lot of stock markets, global stock market even. So yeah, they'll take that all day. So another Q3 report from Messari, and this was the one I was mainly waiting on, Solana. Obviously one of my larger positions, and yeah, something that I'm sort of looking forward to in the bull market. And they've got some pretty good numbers. You've got sort of market cap, obviously, is the market cap. That's fine. People are noticing that the market cap chart is basically at an all-time high, whereas the price sort of still has a way to go. That's sort of real inflation. Coming into Solana, people are getting 7-8%, I think, from the looks of it now per year. So yeah, the market cap does sort of shoot up. But yeah, 71 billion market cap, still sort of a quarter of Ethereum's. So that's pretty good, especially considering some of these numbers. Daily fee payers up 108% after being sort of massively up. You can see sort of 95,000, 191, 500, 900, and now 1.878 million. So that is pretty solid. Transaction fees sort of staying around the same, still a little bit higher, and that is guessing that is mean average rather than median average. So the sort of majority of people still pay a lot less than this, and it's the people sort of who are really wanting to push their transaction pay a lot more. So that's pretty good. Active validators is down 8.7%. It sort of continues to run down, but sort of it's seen as 1,300 is still quite a lot. And then those validators get a higher percentage yield. But it would be nice to sort of see this number at least going up, sort of providing more security and sort of throughput to the network. But there you go, something's got to go down, I suppose. DeFi TVL looking pretty good, but again, this is sort of partly the price going up, but 5.7 billion, that's pretty good. Average daily DEX volume up 29% to 1.5 billion. We know this is sort of largely meme coins. And yeah, on the NFT side, it's not looking quite so good. Still, fairly low numbers, 2.5 million a day. I do think we need sort of the bull market properly to come back, and altcoins to be rising as well, and then people sort of start to feel a little bit richer. They maybe start to want to spend their soul on something, or sort of put it into something a little bit more high risk, and maybe that will be meme coins. But I do think the sort of limited nature of NFTs sort of gives you that more exclusivity, and obviously if you have something backing it, like a game, or some sort of tech thing, poker sites, there's all sorts of things that can be sort of backed by the NFTs. Total amount of money raised as well, 173 million, up 54%, so that's looking pretty good. Coming on to their ecosystem overview, there's some of the same metrics in here, but they do give you some other stuff. Liquid staking rate, as I say, is now 8.4%, which I am missing out on, with the bulk of mine being in NFTs. But yeah, you win some, you lose some. Daily NFT volume, as I say, was down. The daily C NFT, so compressed NFTs minted, is down 54%, although a lot of this sort of, when it first got popular, it was just sort of spam NFTs. I would imagine a fair bit of this still is. They start sort of clogging up your wallet with, you've won 1,000 of so token, please click here, and it's a scam. But yeah, that's what people will inevitably use new tech for. Projects funded in the ecosystem, 29, pretty good. They sort of do, it's 37% down, but yeah, it's sort of way up from previous quarters, and it's a fairly low number anyway. Weekly active devs down, so that's been continuously down. Not ideal, but 360 devs isn't too bad. Stablecoins as well, looking good. USDC it's 2.5 billion, that's up 18% on the quarter, so looking good. Tether slightly down. Tether's sort of obviously the Tron token, and or favoured on the Tron network, and sort of some on Ethereum. PayPal USD sort of getting some volume, up 340%, but from a tiny amount. USDY, not really seen that one, and some others sort of growing, but obviously it's tiny amounts. But yeah, the USDC sort of pretty good to see. It's 3.8 billion, up 23% on last quarter. But you got sort of Tron at like 50 billion, I think. So there's a long way to climb if they sort of want to get more stablecoin volume. Thought the deep in section was pretty good. This seems to be sort of something not a lot of other chains have. So I've looked at Helium Mobile before, sort of liking these numbers. It's getting people who aren't in crypto potentially into crypto without really knowing that they are. This is just like America. Do you want a mobile tariff for $20, which I gather is sort of quite cheap out there? Wouldn't really be terribly cheap here, but yeah, America is sort of more spread out, I suppose. But yeah, Helium are seeing sort of explosive growth. This is June 2024 to September 2024. That's roaring numbers, and the amount that other carriers are offloading data onto Ethereum sort of rocketing up. So yeah, new subscribers, and they're sort of, as I understand, filling in the gaps that the other carriers don't really cover that well, because obviously America is such a big place, and they're expanding worldwide as well, sort of in Europe and parts of Asia from the looks of it. So yeah, really like Helium, and Hive Mapper as well. I thought was sort of seemed to go under the radar, but they've mapped 10.2 million miles, about 27% of the globe. But I thought really importantly, they're selling data currently to 3 of the top 10 global map makers. I didn't realise there were 10 global map makers. I thought it was sort of Google Maps, Apple Maps, and a couple of others. But yeah, one of which is Here Technologies. Not heard of them, but if they're one of the top 10 global map makers, it's not, a lot of things in crypto are sort of promises of the future. We've got great tech, and we're going to be doing things, in the next few years. This is, actual revenue and things working. And the network usage one, which I do like to check on. So you've got non-vote transactions, which would be sort of actually using the network, is down 11%, but still reasonably high, way up on Q3 last year. Voting transactions up slightly, down on last year. As we said, daily fee payers 1.8 million, new daily fee payers 1.3 million. So it has been an absolutely enormous quarter. You had 11,000 new fee payers in Q3 23, so that's incredible. Daily signers 2.5 million people, so that's not all signatures are a transaction. That's just sort of authorizing things. Is more sort of users, I guess, just keeping things active in their wallet, which is pretty good. As we said, average transaction fee 2.3 cents, but median transaction fee is 0.1 cent. So yeah, less than a tenth of the average fee. So people who really want their transaction to get pushed through can pay 2 cents, which is still incredibly low. And the majority of people pay just over a tenth of a cent. So very nice. Or 0.0000008 Sol, which is very different from Ethereum. I do use a sort of one of the wallet tracker apps, and you sort of get some little airdrops for it, and I got an airdrop of like $6 of an Ethereum token, and try to sort of cash it in, and it says you need $7 of Ethereum to make the transaction. So $6 of Ethereum token is essentially worthless. So there's loads in here, basically. I do think it's worth a read if you're in the Solana ecosystem or in the token itself. And yeah, give Masari some love. This was probably the bigger news story for the week. We've got to keep talking about MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor sort of wants to be in the news, it seems. They had their earnings announcements, which sort of aren't really earnings, of course. They just hold Bitcoin, and this is the definition of I would call fake accounting. If Bitcoin goes up, they haven't made a profit. They're just you know, it's a balance sheet item, I would call it, but they're going to keep saying Bitcoin yield of 17.8% year to date. You know, selling shares to buy Bitcoin means they've got 18% more Bitcoin, but there you go. But the big news was that they announced a $42 billion capital plan. So 21 billion of their sort of bulk deal convertible notes, where they sort of issue, you know, $1 billion to banks and or other institutions that are interested in convertible debt, and then they go and buy Bitcoin with it. So 21 billion of that, and 21 billion of just selling shares at market price and at the market offering. So they call this their 21-21 plan. 21 billion of just selling shares on the market, 21 billion of convertibles. And so, yeah, this is over 3 years. So this will presumably go into the bear market as well. You could say that is quite risky, but we'll have to see how that goes. 2028 convertible notes at 0.625% interest. You know, got base rates at 4.75% or 5%. And yeah, he's offering you 0.625, but you can convert it. So presumably almost all of these will be convertible, of course. And yeah, they were sort of getting rid of, we noted before, they're getting rid of any sort of high-paying debt. You know, they had some at 6.125, get rid of that and basically just make it more dilution. And yeah, basically they're going to be buying an absolute ton of Bitcoin over the next 3 years if they are allowed to. I presume they will sell all of this convertible debt. There seems to be sort of no end to people's appetite. So this has been making a lot of headlines recently. AI's sort of influence and AI agents getting into crypto. Basically, you had what I believe was not this AI, but another AI agent sort of being given a crypto wallet, and it started, and it had a Twitter account and all sorts, and was sort of trying to grow itself, and it started tipping people in crypto. To get them to sort of follow and grow their followership. So of its own accord, started making transactions and tipping people, which was interesting. And then you've had this terminal of truth, which sort of I believe partly came from Mark Andreessen, one of the sort of tech investors, VC investors, and yeah, it sort of latched onto a Solana-based meme coin of sort of what is like a 20-year-old rather disgusting meme if you look into it. Probably best not to. Yeah, and it sort of jumped on that and is now sort of, like $800 million market cap. It's come down a little bit, I think. But yeah, this is sort of now an AI agent that lots of people are following, and it's sort of investing it. Again, it's been, given a crypto wallet, and it's buying and selling sort of various coins, and yeah, it's pretty strange, it has to be said. So yeah, Mark, co-founder of Andreessen Horowitz, gave the bot a $50,000 grant for a self-improvement plan. And it even, quoting Mark, said, "Mark and I are going to change the world with our weird, erotic productivity cult, and you're all going to join whether you like it or not." So, very, very odd. We don't really know where these agents are going to go next, but kind of interesting to watch. So looking at coins for the week, as I say, somehow ended up finishing the week basically flat. Bitcoin was up 2.2%, so that sort of certainly did help. Solana was down 6.27%. Ethereum is pretty much flat, 0.4%. I think that says everything about Ethereum at the moment. Chainlink was up 0.5%. XRP down 1.3%, sort of outperforming some of my smaller altcoins. So XRP is most definitely still on the chopping block. I sort of kind of think with the election now, only next week. Kind of thinking if some of these altcoins have a pump, there's thoughts XRP could potentially have a pump on a Trump win. Sort of the idea that a lawsuit against them and sort of a bit more clarity on altcoins would sort of rocket that up, and I would probably take the money and run, to be honest. Power Ledger down 6.7%, Audius down 3.3%, Internet Computer down 6%, Gala down 8.5%. That's not great. Quant down 7.5%, Basic Attention Token down 6%, Matic down 4.5%, and VeChain down 8.6%. So not great for the smaller altcoins. I was sort of half tempted to sell a load of these small altcoins and maybe put them into interactive brokers, sort of ready to have some dry powder for election day and maybe the few days afterwards. But if you've seen yesterday, I decided to sell part of one of my stocks instead. I don't really think I need quite that much, not going to be spending sort of 10,000 quid. So yeah, maybe wait for hopefully what could be a Trump pump on some of these smaller tokens, and then sort of maybe get out after that, or maybe hold on to them. We'll have to see. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and like and subscribe. See you soon.